Welcome to another episode of Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is Bryan CP Steele, and I'll be your nerd today, and every other day that you watch one of my silly videos. So, let's do a quick week in Bryan, because it's been a good week in Bryan. Necron stuff, 40k stuff, has been out in full force. Even got to play a game this weekend, a pleasantly socially distanced game here at the house. And although I lost, it was good to use some of the new toys, learn a few new things about my army. We'll talk more about that when we get into the meat of this episode. Let's see, what else? Officially finished the Tourist Trapped Shadowrun novel. Sent that into the editor. We have a meeting next week to talk about the next book, which I'm really psyched about. I have a handful. So I've mentioned this before. My brain never really stops moving. And so when I have ideas for stories or characters or walk-ons or scenes that don't really apply to the current game or to the current story or the current moment, and I can't figure out a way to make those work, I jot them down in my little handy dandy notebook, and I get back to them at a future time. Well, a friend of mine, a TikTok acquaintance, got married 2 weeks ago, and as his marriage present, because obviously I couldn't go to the wedding itself, as his wedding present, I told him that I wanted to immortalize him and his new bride in a story of mine, or a D&D supplement, or whatever. And first off, he was super jazzed about it, and everything was great. And then he sent over some information about him and his wife, and what he would like them to be in the next book, that sort of thing. And obviously, as that I was at the end of the old novel, it didn't really make sense to just kind of cram them in. But I think that they are going to be a pair of really cool characters in the next book. Basically, still kind of like a walk-on type, sort of in the background type character, not like one of the major players or anything like that. But it will be a fun scene, and it's the kind of thing that I think that people will use in their Shadowrun games and things in the future. They'll see this scene, they'll see how this plays out, and they'll go, those are really cool characters, I want to add them to my game. And so that's kind of the present that I can give. And it is one of those things where I've done this for other characters, other people as well. It is a way for me to use my job, my career, my abilities in a positive fashion, in a way for me to thank people, thank fans, thank contest winners, or whatever, without spending a ton of money, or without putting something else at risk. It's just it's a nice way for me to say, hey, I'm going to use my powers for good and for awesome. In this case, for awesome. So that's cool. Officially are now ankle deep in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers role-playing game process. What has developed so far is what I realize, what I hope I'm not wrong, but what I think I bring to the table in this team, this writers team, is I'm a rules guy. I guess I never realized that. I always thought of myself as, I'm obviously an author and a fictionalist and a narrator, and I'm an idea guy in general. But when it comes down to raw creation of game stuff, I really do love getting into the rules mechanics and getting them to work and getting them to make sense and getting them to play nice with each other and things. And in the meetings with the Renegade folks, with the rest of the team, I'm really coming to terms with the fact that I really do enjoy rules design. I like the idea of making stuff that works, and so I'm hoping that what we put together for Power Rangers, exemplifies that. That really kind of shines. So have had a couple of meetings there, and so far what I've come up with, as far as like my parts of the book, I'm very happy with, and I think Elisa and TJ are as well, and hopefully Scott and the rest of the team will be going down the path. We'll be able to see more about that stuff. Um, let's see what else. Worked on some spycraft stuff early in the week. That's coming along. Just again, a lot of things are just kind of moving at their own pace. Whether it is due to COVID, whether it is due to other people have Kickstarters running that take a lot of their time. You never know what's gonna happen in the industry. So it has made for a slightly I was about to say a slightly more rested Bryan, but as soon as I put the word rest in my brain, it was like yawn. No, it puts a slightly more at ease Bryan here at the table. It really does, because I'm not nearly as worried about deadline stuff. I'm still moving things forward. I'm trying to get things done, but it's not nearly as bad as it was when I thought that I had 10 things due. I'm very much looking forward to talking to John at Catalyst next week about the next novel. Because I want to start getting that kind of my brain wrapped around what that's going to be, start outlining out what it's going to be put together as. I have some ideas of what I'd like to do, but a lot of it depends on what they need. As a contract author, I'm not just basically building a story and then going, "Yay, someone's going to sell this." I'm doing the work that they're asking me to do. In this case, I know that it has something to do with an outside idea that I will need to work into my outline. Just like in the last one, I had to have a reason for the character to be in and around a particular city. This particular story is going to revolve around a set character type and his or her friends. So we'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited anytime I start a new thing. But I do love the outline portion of a novel because it gives me an opportunity to go, okay, this is the story I want to tell. Yeah, there's going to be some tweaks, there's going to be some changes along the way, but overall, the guts of what I want to do comes out in that initial outline, and that's always fun. That's always fun to talk about. Let's see what else. This week was also a really good week for Warzone. So not only did Alex from Resnova and I have a really good meeting discussing, just kind of how things are putting together. We came up with a couple of new aspects of the rules that, while not a huge change by any stretch of the imagination, it answers a lot of the playtesters' questions. We found a way to make the game move in a particular fashion and move a little smoother and a little faster. Overall, I'm psyched, and I believe the next wave of playtesting is going to start like next week, I believe. So the playtesters, those who watch the show, you guys will probably be getting a new packet here shortly to answer and try out some of these changes that addressed past questions. All that being said, I started dipping my toes into I want to say the fourth or fifth wave of releases for Warzone, as far as like what Alex and I have generally planned out. So we've got quite a few units now that are statted out and ready for people to to hopefully get a chance to start testing and whatnot in the future. Um, and I even went so far as to statting up a few things that are not really slotted for release because we don't know when they would fit in, when they would be a good time to go la la. But I want to make sure that the rules work well before then. So that's kind of where that's coming from. But that's been a really good a good experience with the playtesters, with Alex. This particular week, and, Alex is very funny. I'm pretty sure he watches this, so he's gonna get a kick that I'm quoting him on this. For those of you who don't know, Alex is the one of, if not the owner of Resnova, and it was Alex that contacted me, that headhunted me as the former the former honcho over at Dark Age, the maestro of Dark Age, if you will, that, as the reason why he... So I'm throwing stuff away. Like, I'm dealing with stuff and throwing stuff away at the same time. That the reason why he headhunted me is because he liked Dark Age. Warzone, the original Warzone, was the spiritual predecessor of Dark Age. So it just kind of made sense that if I was available to create the spiritual successor of Dark Age as well. This last meeting, he had Alex is also an avid gamer and a very capable designer. I mean, he has his own game company. But at this last meeting, he had a couple of ideas, and we don't always agree, but a lot of times one of us will say something and the other one will go, "Oh, that's a really good idea," and we'll kind of just build off of it rather than immediately trying to, tell the other person why it won't work. We try and build off of each other's ideas. It's a very positive environment. But what that does lend to is that when one person has a majority of the things to say, and the other person is doing a lot of, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds good, yeah, all right, let's do that, it can end up sounding a little, not disgenuine or ingenuine, but a little bit like, are you just agreeing with me because you don't want to fight about it? Like one of those, you have an opinion, you can tell the opinion. And Alex brought that up this last meeting. He had mentioned he's like, just because I'm the boss, you don't have to agree with everything I say. If I say something or want to change something and you don't think, you're still, lead on this project. And like I told him in that is that it would be different if I disagreed with some of the things that he's been putting forward. And there have been a few things that I've basically pointed out, like, maybe that's not so great right now, but in the future, or possibly applying it in a different fashion, that sort of thing. But for the most part, we're both in that same that category of, we both are gamers. We've both played the old game. We both played Dark Age. We both played some of the new games. We didn't play I didn't play Resurrection, but when it comes to the games that we want to feel like this, we have a lot of the same background. And so when we sit down and start doing the design work, it stands to reason why we end up on the same side of things quite often. Is that someone will come up with an idea and the other person will go, "Ooh, it's good, let's roll with that," and then we build off of it using that kind of collective knowledge base. But this last meeting, there were a couple of things that we did not that we didn't necessarily see eye to eye on, but for the most part, it was a very positive meeting, and definitely the changes that we did agree on. I am very, very interested to see what the playtesters think about that, because some of the notes that we got back, there were a handful that all said roughly the same thing, and we believe that we have that addressed now. So, pretty psyched about that. Pretty psyched. Now, one of the other things, so I guess a downside to this week is I was going to swing over to the hobby rig today to do some painting and such on camera, but in order to do that, I use my laptop. And a couple nights ago, I went to do a TikTok live, um, which I was still able to do, obviously, but I was going to play music on the laptop in the background. And I went to go turn on the laptop, and it had a full-on blue screen, troubleshoot this problem, cannot start. Blech. So I need to bring my little my little laptop baby over to the place to have them take a look at it, see if there's something they can do. Just kick it in the butt and make it work. Because I can't, I don't know for the life of me what's going on. I'm not that savvy, and I can't get it to boot up to a certain point to be able to see anything that's wrong with it. So I'm going to let the experts handle it. That's the best thing I can do. But what that does mean is I cannot set up the hobby rig today to do what I wanted to do. So what I did is, because I did promise that I wanted to show you some models, I wanted to show you some stuff this week. I wanted to work on some things with you guys while we're talking and jawing back and forth. And so what I did is I have brought over my glue, my clippers, my file, my scalpel, my cutting mat, the stuff that I'm working on, a couple of other models that I've actually finished. I brought them over here to this side. It's not as clean. It's not as easy to see what's going on. You're going to be looking at my face most of the time, and I'll kind of hold things up to show you. But overall, it is better than not doing anything at all, and I really wanted to show you guys some of this cool stuff. So, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to take my hoodie off because I am burning up. Studio is very warm today. I don't know why. It is just very, very warm. I'm wearing my Waterdeep Surf Club shirt from Armor Class 10. My amazing t-shirt sponsor. I know this is not a new t-shirt, but honestly, I need to go through and requisition some more shirts. It's been a minute. All right. So, what I wanted to do is I want to show you a couple things that I have built, and then we'll just kind of chit-chat while I'm building more stuff, if you guys don't mind. So something I built and painted last week and got to use in my game against my friend this weekend. So in the 40K universe, there a long time ago, 15 years, maybe closer to 20. God knows, it's probably 25 years ago. There was an alien race in 40K that originally were just these kind of weird lizard things that got to hang out, and occasionally you bring them into your battlefield and go, hey, look, I got a thing. And then the Tyranid book came out, and they made them into a subset of, they worked for the Tyranids, and they were called Zotes. And Zotes were this kind of turtle, reptile, centaur thing. They're cool models. They were neat. The original one had a pistol in one hand and this bone mace club thing in the other hand. Super weird combination of tech. But that was a big thing in 40K back then. Is Beastman with a battle axe and a bolt pistol. Just weird stuff. And then last year, it was last year or the year before, a game came out called Blackstone Fortress, and it was a board game that was set in the 40K universe, but didn't really deal with 40K models. It dealt with a bunch of weird personalities, guys that don't necessarily, maybe some castaways from other armies and things. But one of those models that they had, it was in an expansion, they called it the Archivist. And the Archivist, when I saw him initially, or when I saw the stats on him initially, I was like, oh, weird. He's not what I expected. And then I got to see the model. The model was unquestionably a Zote. And that, I was like, oh my god, they brought Zotes back. Even if it's just a singular, it's not a unit, it's not an army, it's not anything. It's a singular character in a board game that got a 40K data sheet so you can field it with your army. I immediately went on eBay, found the box that he comes in, bought it, got him, put him together, and then painted him. And so here is my Zote, the Archivist. I don't know if I can get him in better better lighting, or not better lighting, but better focus. I don't know if you can see, but one of the things that I did is, you can see it better on the back there, like right there, and on his shoulder, and on his head. I took a bunch of the little spare scarabs that come with a bunch of Necron stuff and attached them to him and made like little like electric pulses that are coming out of him, because in the fluff and at one point in the actual game, Necrons had a thing called mind shackle scarabs, which are, if they're exactly what you think they are. They're little scarabs that would plug onto someone's neural pathways and make them a slave to the local cryptech or lord or whatever. The local Necron leader would basically puppet that guy around. And in the old game, or in old versions of 40k, mind shackle scarabs were unbelievably amazing, because they basically said, this guy, he can't fight us this turn, and you just let you be. It was cheating. It was basically, I get into a combat with your character, and that character can't fight or fight back, and I'm going to now turn him into paste, and there's nothing you can do about it. They have since removed that. They're no longer in the narrative, or in the actual gameplay. There's no mind shackle scarabs, but in the narrative, it does show that they exist. It does like it. There are several places in the codex that talk about either the successors to the mind shackle scarabs, or the fact there's a really cool picture that shows like humans that are walking, almost like human. They almost look like zombies, not like flesh rotting zombies, but just like brain zombies. And there's this little floating scarab behind their head with like a little light, zooming down into like their atlas vertebrae. And those are mind shackle scarabs. And so what I did is I figured, because they made rules for these unaligned Blackstone Fortress characters, that if I wanted to add any of the unaligned dudes, I was going to have to attach mind shackle scarabs to them and make them into basically slaves of the moment. And it gives me an opportunity to add a few cool models to a force. There's a couple other models that are in that Blackstone set that I may still get, because I kind of dig them. And arguably, the points aren't as good. I could have easily spent the points for him elsewhere. Did he do anything in the actual battle I fought on Saturday? He half killed a tank, and then he accepted the charge from a dreadnought and got killed. So is he amazing? Nah. Could he have done some really cool stuff? Sure. Could I have spent his points in a more efficient manner? Yes. But it was totally worth doing what I did for my opponent to go, is that a Zote? And then go, whoa, he does how much damage? It was just, it's a fun, neat thing to do. I love moments like that in the game, even though he died shortly thereafter to being punched in the face twice. Putting him on the field for the first time, explaining what he does, getting to see him tear a tank nearly in half, and then summarily get murdered, was still awesome. And so that's why I include some of these weird models, because as I have played Necrons for years and years, a lot of the new stuff that's coming out with the Necrons are super cool. It's super amazing, and I love it. It doesn't mean that I don't want some more, not fluff, but more variation. And there are other Blackstone characters that I've been kind of eyeballing, that sometimes it's because they have something that maybe my army can't do, or it doesn't do well, and I pay a few extra points, fill in a slot with this one guy, and then suddenly I've got a character that can do something pretty cool. That's kind of where I'm using this whole mind shackle scarab idea to add stuff, add unaligned things to my Necrons. That being said, I also have got new cool stuff for my Necrons. So I built this actually on a TikTok live last week. This is the Canoptic Doomstalker. So it's kind of huge. Let's put him up next to the Zote. Here he is. Hi, I'm next to the Zote. So the Zote's on a big base as it is. The Zote's a big guy, but this Canoptic thing is enormous. And I will say that I was unsure how well this monster would do, knowing that he is basically a slightly up-jumped Dreadnought with one good gun and one terrible gun. And he can't really move if he wants to use the big gun at full capacity. I expected that thing to maybe get one shot off, maybe two, and then my opponent just to wipe him off the board when they see how good that gun is. Well, not only did he go the entire game without being damaged, but he did a lot of work. He cleaned up a couple of bikes, he cleaned up a squad, he killed a Dreadnought. That's definitely... I never like to say, well, that guy will never leave my list. I don't like to ever say it's a permanent fixture. Because that implies being stagnant, and I'm against that. But he did enough work that he will definitely be seeing the battlefield a couple more times. Hopefully after I get some paint on him, because right now he's just one of the gray legions, which I've never been a fan of. I don't have to use if I don't have to use gray plastic, I won't. And then something else I got put together, but I have not... one of the things I'm going to do today is actually put together the riders while we're kind of talking back and forth. But a new model for said Necrons called the Silent King. So this is a gnarly kit. It comes in multiple pieces. It is not... it is definitely... one of those things where you got to follow the instructions piece by piece by piece because they all sort of snug fit in. But this monster is, I think in game he's like 500 points, and he takes up like this supreme leader command slot, and it's just this floating throne room kind of thing with three guys, the Silent King himself and then his two henchmen, that ride around in this tank. So the Silent King stands here and his two henchmen go back in here, and then it comes with these two little floaty things that are basically just sort of ablative wounds that fire a big gun. I do look forward to trying him out. He's a lot of points in a game. Most games that we play are 2,000 points, so if you take the Silent King, that is 25% of your entire army is locked up into one guy with a couple of moving parts. So we'll see how that goes in the future, but it's a gnarly kit, and it does a ton of really cool stuff in the game. So I'm looking forward to eventually getting him on the field just once, just to see how he does. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, before I start building and things, so I think last week I may have told you guys about something. I know some of you cats are like, wait, what? And I got in the mail from my good friend Alex the prototypes of the Blood Berets. So here is, he's got his little flash on his head. But so here is just a basic Blood Beret trooper. I don't know if it's going to focus on him or not. Come on. Let's get... So basic Blood Beret trooper with his Invader assault rifle. So he's a basic soldier that I am very... He's a basic Imperial soldier. I am basically... Basic. I was given two, and I did assemble one. Here he is. His assault rifle ready to rock and roll. But you might be able to see, I don't know if you can, how we were discussing before that kind of Paul Bonner aesthetic. He's got the big shoulder pads. He's got exaggerated armor. His gun is very big. Here's one thing I will point out. I don't know if... Let's see if we can get it close enough that you guys can see it. Come on. Focus. Oh, it was trying. Focus. There we go. That the barrels on the gun, the actual barrels on the guy himself. Come on, do it. Focus. You know you want to. It's not gonna do it again. I had a good focus there for a second. Yeah. All right. Well, either way, we were trying to explain that you can do that Paul Bonner style art with the bigger, exaggerated armor, the bigger shoulder pads and things, and still have new poses, solid figures that don't look super clunky. But yeah, when I started cutting this guy out of his sprue, which yielded 2 attachment points at the bottoms of the feet, so it's very, very good there. I was astonished at the fact that there was just the tiny little details, like his his pistol at his hip. It's the right kind of pistol. It's the aggressor sidearm. He has the barrel of his invader, of his assault rifle, is actually drilled out. That's something that I normally do with all of my stuff anyway, is I hollow out the barrels because it adds just that tiny little bit of extra realism to the model. They're actually designed that way. They're sculpted that way. Yeah, so it's very cool to be able to have these guys and to see the kind of plastic that we were talking about doing. I understand it is definitely a different kind of plastic than like Games Workshop hard sprues. So like here's a Games Workshop hard sprue that is, it is solid. It makes big springy clips when you clip them. The plastic used in these guys, in these prototype guys, which again I don't know if it'll be the final plastic or not, but it definitely keeps its detail well. Like all of the shapes and everything are perfectly preserved. It kept that barrel unplugged and open, but it is a little softer when it comes to, like, I went to go cut them off the sprues the first time, and it almost felt as though my side cutters just sort of spongied into the thing. Instead of actually like snipping it, it was almost like they were just kind of smooshing it around, and that's weird. That's not great. That's not ideal. But yeah, so I've got 2 blood berries here, and in my spare time, I'm hoping to be able to actually get some paint on these cats too. The way that we've got them is, so here's the main body. We'll just show the main body first. So the main body is just his legs, his main thing, and he's got these kind of stumps for arms, because when it comes to like this box set, one the basic troopers, these guys are just the assault rifles, by changing which weapon that they're equipped with changes their role on the battlefield immensely, not to mention how much they cost in points to bring to the game, that sort of thing. That's changed as well. And so because that changes, because that's so important, we obviously wanted to make sure that you could, from the very beginning in the box, field them however you see fit. Now, the good news here is, in this case, I have one option to field them. I have one option how these guys are fielded, and that's just because these are the prototype single soldier. If down the road, once we get like one of the machine guns done, or a plasma carbine done, or something like that, I will be able to use one of these models with a different kind of body, and what that'll do is it'll give me whole new troop types. It'll give me whole new specialists, whole new all of the above, just because those wrists are in the same place. So when we design the actual models, all of the weapons and things, I don't want to use the term interchangeable because that's going to be kind of weird and hard to pull off in some cases. But like if this particular blood beret can only have a heavy machine gun, a flamethrower, or his assault rifle / pistol, I have to figure out how to make all of those fit on the two stumps. You know, do they stand together? Does he put them on his back? You know, if he puts it on his back, can it be a removable bit for somebody who doesn't want to take that weapon? Whatever needs may be, we've got whenever Alex and I start to put together those models, like digitally anyway, what'll happen is they will be left over. You know, these extra pieces, they'll be there because we're not using those. We're using that machine gun. We're not using the assault rifle. We're using the Gehenna Puker flamethrower, and they're going to be set up that wherever the wrists are on the hands on the weapon will still match that distance apart. It will still nuzzle up against their belly or their chest or whatever, and it'll have that position. And that's going to be the important thing going forward, is basically making sure that the new weapons or future weapons that we release, if that unit can have them, you got to keep that distance on those arms the right way. So I need to find that sprue, because I'm going to go ahead and put together the Silent King's passengers. Maybe get to the Silent King himself, but definitely get at least the passengers done. But yeah, I want to show you these guys again. I'm so excited. Like the plastic's good. The detail's good. They're obviously resilient because I'm throwing them. These guys look like new age models. So sorry about that. My computer freaked out and completely just sort of stopped using the camera and was like, camera's not there anymore. So what I was saying is I'm going to go ahead and cut out the passengers for the Silent King and his ride. Get these guys together. But I was really, like I said, I was very excited to show you guys those couple of blood rays, because they do show that while we are still doing, that old style, that old that old Paul Bonner aesthetic, we can still just as easy make it feel like it's a newer style of game. Art wise and sculpt wise. I mentioned it before. I was like, Space Marines haven't changed in a million years, but every time they put out a new one, everybody kind of goes ooh and gushes about it because it's a new cool thing. And frankly, I don't blame them, because new cool things are awesome. Right now, I'm looking for the chest piece of one of the Farons who hangs out with the Silent King on his death yacht. I don't know. his floating chair of destruction. I'm looking for a bit and bob. But yeah, so it's the new Blood Beret looks great. I'm super happy. We're going to see how paint goes to him. I was hoping to be able to tell you that today, how paint attaches to him real well or not. But unfortunately, the other camera rig is just not going to be viable, which sucks. But yeah, other than that, I've been putting together a lot of models and just enjoying, enjoying the whole collective concept of 40K moving in the direction that it is. I think it's moving in the right direction to get away from cheesebag tournament play. I think it's I've said it before. I think it's a real good time to be a gamer. You know, it is a solid time to be able to do the things that we do. And that pleases me to no end. The Blood Berets, the Blood Beret samples. Now, so those are basic troopers, basic everyday Blood Berets with their Invader Assault Rifle and Aggressor Sidearm. You know, so they are exactly what you think they are. But they are ready to accept any kind of weapon that particular unit can use. Can totally do what I'm doing, and usurp them. No, that didn't make any sense. What the hell am I talking about? Put them together however they want is really what it comes down to. Is when we eventually put out those Warzone figures, their box set will have variable different weapons, variable different arm attachments. Maybe, you know, like if you look at the back here, he's got a very flat back, just that kind of back armor piece. For the purposes of like the comms unit guy, he'll probably have a backpack headset antenna thing. If it's the, you know, a close combat specialist, maybe he'll have a sword on his back. You know, we wanted to build these figures or design these figures so they can quite easily represent any member of the squad with just a little with one of the included bits, weapons, add-ons, whatever you got. And so that way, if you want to field a squad of just basic grunts, you can. Or if you want to plan on doing a couple of grunts, a leader, and a heavy machine gunner, or a sniper, or something along those lines, all of those will be there too. Now, I'm hoping, while the decision is ultimately not mine, I'm hoping that while this guy is standing in kind of a ready, snap, I'm firing position, pop, 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 I'm hoping we'll get at least one guy who's maybe kneeling, maybe one guy who's looking the other direction might be nice. But whatever the end result is, it will be a box of guys that can be put together in different capacities and made into the type of, in this case, Blood Beret that you want, or that we want, or that someone wants. Alright, my glue is giving me grief. Yeah, so sorry about the technical issue. I couldn't figure out what was going on, so I had to reboot my computer completely. And kind of go from there. As you do sometimes, as you do. Alright, how does that go on there? That can't be it. Is it? No. There's no way that's it. I don't know. I don't know how this goes together. Says like that. Oh, just like that. Okay. Okay. Because that's not the front, I don't think. How does this work? Oh, I'm getting frustrated. You guys are probably watching and be like, and why do we care about what he's doing right now? So, yeah, no, it's been a good couple of weeks. Getting the Warzone prototypes and hopefully get some paint on them, that'll be cool. Here in a couple of weeks, or in the next week or so. I gotta get my thing fixed. That's a priority. Sadly, it has to. That's got to be a thing. Oh my gosh, why is this not going together? I am angry at my thing. Alright. Like that? No way. No way. That can't be it. Oh, I guess it is. Never mind. It fits perfect. Sometimes you just gotta go with the flow. So, one of the things that I have learned with some of these new Necron models is they are starting to. GW used to be real good about not overdoing their kits. You know, like if a model had a hand, they would either sculpt the hand to be a thing, or they wouldn't make like the thumb an extra piece or anything like that. Some of these most recent kits that GW's put out, like in this case, I want to show you here. So I've got an arm. It's just a basic everyday arm, and his thumb and forefinger. His thumb and forefinger are a different piece. And that just seems so bizarre to me, because when you're making a sprue, so back in the day, when models needed to be made, they were put through a spin caster, which means you had to do your models in a particular fashion, so all of the metal would reach out to the end of the mold when they spun up. But because of that, plastic injection models like this one shouldn't have any trouble doing individual little things. And here's the thing, I literally just put on this thumb and forefinger on this hand, and I can't see a single reason, professionally or as an artist, why that's a thing. Why is it like that? I have no idea. Like none. Not even a little bit. Okay, why is that not going together? How does that work? Okay. Come on. I need you to function properly. Because if you don't, I gotta figure out why. I'll just pretty much figure out why. I figure out what's going on. Why is it giving me this astronomical amount of grief? Oh, wait. Oh, wait a minute. What's that? Oh, man. Why do I have to be so silly? No, it is not how it goes. Okay. Alright, so at least I am aware that this is not how it's supposed to be. Okay, that goes there. That goes there. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, everybody. I know this is like not the most entertaining of YouTube videos. I mean, other than the fact that you get to sit here and laugh at me for screwing up all my stuff. But just kind of annoyed with how this is going together. It is not an easy kit, that is for sure. Oh, I'm an idiot. Part of the reason why it's not going together like it should is because I was trying to put that thing on backwards. Which will do no one any good. Oh, man. I do dislike when I do dumb things. Alright, I need another arm. Where's your arm, fella? I have 72. I don't need 72, do I? I do not. I need 81. But yeah, so like I said, I'm not gonna keep you guys on here for too terribly long, having you guys just sit here and listen to me go on about how cool the stuff is that's coming out when it's not sitting in front of me, and I don't have it painted, so I I can't be like, yo, I wish that I could show you the painted versions. Just know that I am super excited with the quality of these models and the direction it seems the Res Nova production, the actual fabrication part of the team, it really seems like they're knocking it out of the park. They're doing a good job. So I am interested and eager to hear how that pans out in the future. I wanted to get this guy put together on camera, but I can't seem to. Number 81. 81 is just like a hand? A tiny little stick puppet hand? Well, that's 91. Is that a typo? I'm not even seeing an 81. Never fails. The one time that you need a particular bit or bob and it's not. Yeah, it says 91. I think they meant that. Let me make sure 91 doesn't get used again later. Because if it did, I'll be sad. Alright, 89. Nope, 91 does get used. Alright, so no, where the heck is 81? What a weird problem. I just don't have all of the body parts. How strange is that? How strange is that? He said. Alright, you know what? I'm going to change gears. And I'm going to put together the actual Silent King. I'm going to put him together because there's a good chance that in doing so I will reveal... I'll reveal the part that I'm missing and be like, oh, okay, got it. But no, so it's been a good thing in modeling. I wish I had more of the blood berets. Honestly, there was a part of me that wishes that we could do like a giveaway to give one of the new models to somebody. But as I have been instructed, these are prototypes and they are not to be sold or given away or anything like that because the end product might be a little different. I hope it's not too different because these are badass. They are very, very cool, and I do not want them to be changed too much, even though they are just basic everyday grunt troopers. I don't want to see them shifted too badly because that would suck. You know what else sucks? Pulling off the one of the little tiny hidden like hip pieces of Silent King, getting off the sprue. Because hopefully that'll be covered by his gigantic cool ass cape, but even so, I'll know that there's a little piece missing, and it will always make me a little crazy. Alright, well, I do believe that I am going to go ahead and try and wrap this up because while it is a lot harder to do between the technical difficulty we had earlier and the fact that I am burning up, I'm not in front of my fan, I don't have my full lights. Trying to do hobby rig stuff over here is hard. I've realized now that it is very difficult. But again, I want to say this more. I want to accent this as much as I can for my people out there who watch this specifically because of Warzone. Let's see if I can get a good close up of the blood beret again. Come on, focus, please. Give me a good focus. You know what? I bet I can manually focus. Let's try. Alright. We're going to try and manually focus and see if you guys can't get a good shot of the blood beret. There he is. That's a good shot. All right. So it's got goggles. It's got the pouches. Good armor. It's got those drilled in barrels that I love. A lot of cool. There's that aggressor sidearm. Big flat back piece for adding on. For a trooper, it's just good armor. But for adding on extra bits and bobs to make him special. Very, very cool. I am psyched for that guy. So, come on. Turn the... Oh, there we go. So yeah, I'm super psyched. I think that Alex sent these guys to get my seal of approval. I definitely approve, and I hope that you guys do too. Take a still of that shot, that nice focus shot, so you can show people on the forums and things. Whatever the case may be, that is the first prototype Warzone model for the new game. I was hoping to be able to tell you guys the actual name of the game, but I think there might be still some outstanding paperwork on that. So maybe we'll have a big unveiling or something soon. But again, I am going to go ahead and get out of here. This is trying to do hobby stuff. My regular rig is just not working out for me, and I apologize. Hopefully I'll get that stuff taken care of soon. And I look forward to being able to show you some cool stuff and hopefully some painted stuff soon on all accounts. And then I know this weekend I'm going to be playing some Necromunda and some D&D, and if I can maybe get a good playtest game of Warzone in, maybe I'll tell you all about what happened. So my brain is mush. So it's just too hot in here. You guys, I know today was kind of a weird episode. I hope you got some good information out of it and some cool pictures and things you can share. Regardless, thanks for hanging out with me for another episode of Tales From. And please leave comments. Give me some stuff to talk about. Let's find out what we want to talk about next week. And more than anything, wear a mask while you're out there. Stay safe. It is still a pandemic. If you can, if you're in that part of the nation of the U.S., vote, please. Let's get some smarter minds up in our administration. And as always, be safe, go out there, have fun, and play some games. We'll see you next week.